compliance is change in volume per unit change in pressure. So what is compliance? Change in volume of lung per unit change in pressure. Change in pressure. Now what do we see over here? That delta V denotes change. Delta denotes change. So change in volume per unit change in pressure. Change in volume per unit change in pressure. This is typically 200 ml per centimeter of water column. So that means what are you seeing? You are seeing how much volume of the lung is changing per unit change in pressure. This gives you a different interpretation also. That is a normal tidal volume. You can see it both ways. A normal tidal volume क्या होता है? Tidal volume is the volume of air that you are inspiring or expiring during quiet respiration at rest. So normally a tidal volume is about 500 ml. That gives you interpretation that the tidal volume of 500 ml, in other words, it means that if the volume of lung is 500 ml, it would give you 2 to 3 centimeters of water column change, to 2 to 3 centimeters of water column pressure change. So 500 ml would mean 500 ml of normal respiration means 2 to 3 centimeters of pressure change takes place during every respiration. In other words, it also means that for in the lungs, the pressure change that takes place during every respiration is basically 2 to 3 centimeters of water column. So normally, फिर से बोलते हैं इस बात को, compliance क्या है? Compliance है कितना पर यूनिट प्रेशर के चेंज पर लंग्स में कितना वॉल्यूम बदलेगा. ठीक है, तो नॉर्मल कंप्लायंस क्या होता है? रफली एक अप्रोक्सीमेटली 200 ml पर सेंटीमीटर ऑफ वाटर कॉलम होता है. ये वाटर कॉलम के टर्म्स में होता है क्योंकि वॉल्यूम प्रेशर चेंज इतना कम होता है कि आप उसको मरकरी में, मिलीमीटर्स ऑफ मरकरी में नहीं नाप सकते हैं. तो ये सेंटीमीटर्स ऑफ वाटर कॉलम में मेजर करते हैं. तो पर सेंटीमीटर वाटर कॉलम के प्रेशर में, पर सेंटीमीटर ऑफ वाटर कॉलम, पर सेंटीमीटर ऑफ वाटर कॉलम, ये पर सेंटीमीटर वाटर कॉलम के चेंज पर 200 ml पर सेंटीमीटर वाटर कॉलम प्रेशर चेंज हो रहा है. ये कंप्लायंस, इतना नॉर्मल कंप्लायंस है. अभी इसमें नॉर्मल कंप्लायंस में और क्या चीज है? नॉर्मल कंप्लायंस में को अगर हम लोग देखें तो अगर हम प्रेशर वॉल्यूम कर्व अगर हम ऐसे बनाते हैं तो नॉर्मली क्या होगा कि if we have a pressure volume graph like this, normally what would happen, as the pressure changes, the volume should change like this linearly. Normally it should happen like that. ठीक है, जैसे रबड़ का गुब्बारा अगर आप ब्लो करो तो रबड़ का गुब्बारा जब आप ब्लो करते हो तो जैसे जैसे प्रेशर इंक्रीज करता जाएगा वैसे वैसे वॉल्यूम भी इंक्रीज करता जाएगा. वॉल्यूम विल आल्सो इंक्रीज एज द प्रेशर इंक्रीजेस. द वॉल्यूम शुड ठीक है, शुड लीनियरली इंक्रीज लीनियरली. जैसे जैसे प्रेशर इंक्रीज करेगा वॉल्यूम शुड इंक्रीज लीनियरली. एंड the vice versa should also be true. As the pressure decreases, the volume also continues to decrease. That should happen. ठीक है, that is what the common sense would say. But here something else is happening. What we see is that as the initial pressure, let me use a different color. As the initially, if the pressure changes, the pressure changes initially, there is hardly any volume change. Initially, as the pressure from the zero, if the pressure changes, there is hardly any volume change. And as the pressure increases, the volume start increasing like this. Volume start increasing like this. And then what we see is that as the pressure decreases, instead of retracing that line, the volume comes back, volume drops sharply, then continues to drop, and then again drops sharply. So it makes a loop like this. We do it again. फिर से करते हैं इसको, इस बात को फिर से समझते हैं. नॉर्मली क्या होगा, अगर हमारा नॉर्मल कोई भी गुब्बारा भरोगे तो जैसे जैसे प्रेशर भरोगे वॉल्यूम भरता चला जाएगा, और जैसे जैसे प्रेशर कम करोगे वॉल्यूम कम होता चला जाएगा. लंग्स भी एक गुब्बारे की तरह है, उसमें भी ऐसा ही होना चाहिए था, कॉमन सेंस यही कहेगा. बट यहाँ पर थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट हो जाता है. या क्या डिफरेंट हो जाता है कि जैसे जैसे हम प्रेशर को चेंज करते हैं, जैसे जैसे हम प्रेशर, हम इनिशियली जीरो से जब हम प्रेशर को बढ़ाते हैं, तो इनिशियली जैसे हम जीरो से प्रेशर को बढ़ाते हैं, वॉल्यूम में शायद ही कुछ चेंज आ रहा है. शुरू में देयर इज नो चेंज इन द वॉल्यूम. इन द स्टार्ट देयर, एज द प्रेशर हैज इंक्रीज फ्रॉम हियर till here, the pressure has increased, there is hardly any change in the volume. Then volume increases very slowly. As the pressure has increased, यहाँ से यहाँ तक so much pressure has increased, but volume has increased this much only. And then a time comes when the volume rapidly increases. See, the slope of the curve has increased rapidly, and then it will try to taper off. Then as the pressure decreases, volume, it does not retrace this line. It comes back, it drops. Initially it will drop slowly, then it will drop very rapidly, and then again it will drop slowly. So this forms a loop kind of thing. It does not follow this. So this forms a loop. अभी ये बात समझ में आ गई या नहीं आ गई? Any question over here?
Yes, sir.
हाँ बोलो. कोई any question? Okay. So if this point is clear, so that means something unique is happening over here. That means that lungs is something different from a rubber balloon. It is not taking a linear progression of the pressure volume curve. As जो example मैंने अभी आपको बोला कि a balloon, a linear progression of pressure volume is not taking place over here. So initially the volume is very resistant to change, and then the volume rapidly rises, and then this volume plateaus off, and then again as the pressure decreases, the volume is again resistant to change, and then the volume drops very rapidly, and then again it is very slow. So this forms a loop kind of thing, and this loop is known as hysteresis loop. This is known as hysteresis loop. इसमें कोई nothing biological about it, ये physics की बात है कि this is such a loop in mathematics and physics are known as hysteresis loops, where they do not trace back on their own path. And this is a volume pressure curve where we see that as the pressure, what is the interpretation of this curve? The interpretation over here is that initially the volume is very resistant to change. As the pressure changes, there is no volume change, and then the volume changes very rapidly, and then again there is a slow volume change, and the reverse is also the same. And this is because of the unique property of the lung, and that unique property of the lung, which is compliance. Now, what is that thing which is imparting the feature of compliance over here? So let us visit that. But before we do that, एक और interpretation की बात यहाँ पर है. If you understand, when the baby is in the womb, then the lungs is totally collapsed. When the baby is in the womb of the mother, the lung is totally collapsed because it is not aerating. So when the lung is not aerating, then you will find that when the baby takes his first breath, from the pressure would rise right from zero, and it will start, and there would be a very small volume change over here, and the terrific amount of pressure is required over here to make this small volume change over here. To make this much of volume change, so much of pressure has to be generated for making this volume change. And then once some volume is there inside, volume will rise rapidly. In other words, the first breath of life takes lot of effort to inflate the lungs. You can imagine that from your balloon example also. When you are trying to inflate a balloon, a new balloon, you will require terrific amount of force to move the edges of the balloon, the walls of the balloon. You will have to exert too much amount of pressure to open the balloon. But once the balloon has deflated, it would next time it becomes easier to deflate the balloon. Why? Because the walls are not sticking over there, number one, and there is some residual air inside it. The same logic happens over here. During the first breath, पहली सांस जब बच्चा ले रहा है पैदा होने के बाद, उसको बहुत ज्यादा ताकत लगानी पड़ रही है, बहुत ज्यादा प्रेशर एक्सर्ट करना पड़ रहा है थोड़ा सा वॉल्यूम चेंज करने के लिए. उसके बाद वॉल्यूम तेजी से बढ़ गया. हर बार अगर हम सांस लेंगे और सांस छोड़ेंगे और वापस जीरो पे आके गिरेंगे, तो सोचो हर बार हम लोगों को कितनी सांस में प्रेशर लगाना पड़ेगा. So nature does not work like that. So what happens is that this pressure falls, but the volume does not fall so rapidly over here at the end. So pressure falls, then the volume does not want to fall, then the volume falls rapidly, and then the volume does not want to fall. So some amount of residual air remains inside the lung at all time. And so in all practical purposes, during our normal breathing, like you are breathing right now, you are breathing basically in this zone. You're breathing basically, we are all breathing in this zone. We are not breathing over here. So it does not allow the pressure to fall over here. So the interpretation of the story was that the pressure volume curve imparts several intrinsic property to the lung. Number one, the volume and the pressure do not change linearly. Number two, initially when the lung has to open up in a newborn baby, lot of pressure has to be generated to open the lung during the first breath. Number three, when during our normal tidal volume, the pressure does not drop so much, and there is always some amount of air inside the lung which allows the reopening and the re-entry to make it easier. Now, having said that, let us come back to the compliance thing, this compliance part. The properties, what are the properties which are being imparted by the compliance? So why is compliance taking place? Compliance is taking place because of two basic factors. One is which is known as surfactant. What is surfactant? Surfactant is a chemical substance, dipalmityl phosphatidylcholine. Dipalmityl phosphatidylcholine. So mostly everybody would be knowing this substance. So I'm not interested in the name of the substance. I'm more of interested in what this substance is doing. It is basically decreasing the surface tension. it is decreasing the surface tension. Now when it is decreasing the surface tension, surfactant. Now this is the surfactant, the chemical formula of the surfactant. Now, but when it is decreasing the surface tension, it is essentially allowing the alveoli to remain open. अभी आपको लॉजिक मैंने बताई, पूरा एल्वियोलाई अगर कोलैप्स हो जाएगा, हर बार भयंकर ताकत लगानी पड़ेगी एल्वियोलाई को खोलने के लिए. तो हम चाहते हैं कि एल्वियोलाई के अंदर थोड़ी सी हवा बनी रहे और एल्वियोलाई पूरी तरह कोलैप्स ना हो. We want that the nature wants that the alveoli not to collapse fully and some air to remain inside. That would make the alveoli to reopen easier, as you saw the logic and the interpretation over there in the hysteresis loop. Now, how does decrease in the surface tension occurs? That because it acts as the surfactant, as you know from your physics, that all surfactants act like a detergents and they decrease the surface tension and hence help in preventing the collapse to take place. Now इसमें फायदा क्या होता है? What is the advantage over there? Let us understand the physics. Alveoli are basically, if we take this as an example of an alveoli, so in any alveolus is a singular, so if in any alveolus there is a tendency to collapse for all spherical bubbles, all spheres, for example, even for a bubble, they have a tendency to collapse, and that tendency to collapse is because of a collapsing pressure. That tendency to collapse of a bubble is because of a collapsing pressure. So all bubbles or spheres have a tendency to collapse, and that pressure is equal to 2 times the surface tension. The surface tension are the surface tangential forces over here. So we will not go into the physics that much. We don't need to go into that. So the tension over there, that is the surface tension, 2 times the surface tension divided by the radius of that bubble. So alveoli have a tendency to collapse, and which is 2 times the surface tension divided by the radius, and this happens to be known as Laplace law. So must be familiar from your +2 levels from your physics, that this is the Laplace law, which says that the collapsing pressure of any sphere is equal to 2 times the tension divided by the radius. Now that brings us to various interpretation over here. That means the bigger the radius, that means bigger the bubble, more bigger the bubble, that is bigger the radius, smaller is the collapsing pressure. Number one, that means smaller the bubble, more is the collapsing pressure. So smaller bubbles, and that means smaller alveoli would have more collapsing pressure. So smaller alveoli would tend to collapse, and bigger alveoli would tend to remain open. That is one part of the thing. The second is that brings us, that would be a common sense interpretation. Okay, now that brings us to a very important thing, that कि इसका ये मतलब है all small alveoli are going to collapse and all big alveoli would remain open, because that is what this logic says. But there is more to it. What happens is that it doesn't happen like that. When the big alveoli is trying to collapse, as it is trying to collapse, as a big alveoli is trying to collapse, as it becomes close, smaller and smaller, the surfactant molecule over there, whatever the surfactant molecules are there, they would be farther away in a bigger alveoli, and as the alveoli become smaller and smaller because of this collapsing pressure, these surfactant molecule would come closer and closer, and as they become closer and closer, this surface tension would continue to decrease, because what the surfactant is doing, decreasing the surface tension, and the tension a unit tension decreases multiplied by 2 times. That means every unit amount of surface tension decrease is twice that surface tension decrease. So every unit radius change is going to decrease the surface tension by 2 times. आपको लॉजिक समझ में आई? फिर से बोल रहा हूं, इस पूरी कहानी का इशू क्या था? लाप्लास लॉ के हिसाब से रेडियस अगर बड़ा होगा या छोटा होगा, अगर रेडियस हमारा बड़ा होगा यानी कि एल्वियोलाई बड़ा होगा तो क्या होगा? प्रेशर, कोलैप्सिंग प्रेशर बहुत कम होगा। अगर रेडियस हमारा छोटा होगा यानी एल्वियोलाई छोटा होगा तो कोलैप्सिंग प्रेशर बड़ा होगा। कोलैप्सिंग प्रेशर क्या है? एल्वियोलाई को कोलैप्स कराने वाले प्रेशर, जो इस फॉर्मूले से दिख रहा है। इसका इंटरप्रिटेशन क्या बन रहा था कि इसका इंटरप्रिटेशन ये बन रहा था कि जो भी सरफेस टेंशन जो भी एल्वियोलाइज होंगे वो सारे छोटे एल्वियोलाई कोलैप्स कर जाएंगे और सारे बड़े एल्वियोलाई जिंदा रहेंगे। यही ये इसका लॉजिक बन रहा था, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है। ठीक है, क्या हो रहा है? हो ये रहा है कि जैसे जैसे ये बड़ा एल्वियोलाई कोलैप्स करके छोटा होने लगता है, तो जो ये रेड कलर में हम मान लेते हैं सरफेक्टेंट के मॉलिक्यूल्स हैं, ये जो छोटे ये जो सरफेक्टेंट के मॉलिक्यूल्स हैं ये पास आने लगते हैं, और ये जो सरफेक्टेंट के मॉलिक्यूल जैसे जैसे पास आने लगते हैं तो उनका सरफेस टेंशन और कम होने लगता है। तो एवरी यूनिट रेडियस जो डिक्रीज हो रहा है वो हमारा सरफेस टेंशन को 2 टाइम्स कम कर दे रहा है, और जैसे हमारा सरफेस टेंशन 2 टाइम्स कम हो जा रहा है हमारा कोलैप्सिंग प्रेशर कम हो जा रहा है। तो एक्चुअली में क्या हो रहा है कि जैसे जैसे एल्वियोलाई छोटा हो जा रहा है, जो 2 टाइम सरफेस टेंशन कम हो रहा है वो एल्वियोलाई को होल्ड करने में कामयाब है। तो इसका ये मतलब है जो इनिशियल कॉमन सेंस वाली लॉजिक मैंने आपको बोली थी वो नहीं होल्ड ट्रू करती है, जो एक्चुअल फिजिक्स यहाँ पर लागू होती है। तो घूम फिर के आखिरी में बात क्या खत्म कर रहा हूँ? आखिरी में बात ये खत्म कर रहा हूँ कि सर्फेक्टेंट की वजह से छोटे एल्वियोलाई भी सर्वाइव करते हैं, बड़े एल्वियोलाई तो सर्वाइव कर ही रहे हैं। छोटे एल्वियोलाई कोलैप्स नहीं होते हैं। नॉर्मली अगर सर्फेक्टेंट नहीं होता तो छोटे एल्वियोलाई सारे कोलैप्स कर गए होते और लंग्स के अंदर सिर्फ बड़े एल्वियोलाई होते हैं। लेकिन यहाँ पर सर्फेक्टेंट की वजह से छोटे एल्वियोलाई भी सर्वाइव कर रहे हैं, बड़े एल्वियोलाई भी सर्वाइव कर रहे हैं। लंग्स के अंदर देयर वुड बी अ डायनामिक स्टेटस, there would be small alveoli. This is biology. So there are dynamic status. So there are big alveoli, there are small alveoli. So you have different types of alveoli over there. So hopefully the point is made over here that the surfactant is helpful in decreasing the surface tension. Number 2, it is helpful in maintaining the existence of alveoli by decreasing the surface tension. And also important point over there, it helps in the survival of the small alveoli. So even for the bigger alveoli, had the surfactant not been there, as the alveoli were decreasing in size, the collapsing pressure would have increased so much. As the radius would have decreased, the collapsing pressure would have increased so much. If the surfactant was not there, the collapsing pressure would have increased tremendously. But because the surfactant is there, it is decreasing the tension by 2 times, and because the surfactant is decreasing the tension by 2 times, it is decreasing the surface tension by 2 times, and therefore the collapsing pressure is counterbalancing and the alveoli is able to sustain over there. I hope the physics is understood over there. If there is any question, I can take it right now. Any question? Okay, so having said that, दूसरा काम क्या होता है? दूसरा एक, I said that what are the 2 factors? See, what are the 2 factors which are giving this surfactant, which are important for the compliance of the lung? One is the surfactant, and number 2 is the structure of lung, the unique structure of lung. Now let us revisit what is this unique structure of lung. Everybody has seen, obviously everybody has seen socks, मोजा, है ना? जूते का मोजा the shoes, the socks of the shoes. It is such a small structure, but we are able to put our entire foot inside it. पूरा पैर अंदर चला जाता है. इतने छोटे से इतना कितना छोटा सा मोजा होता है. Why? Second point, if you take out a thread of that sock, ठीक है, socks के अंदर पूरा पैर चला जाता है, the entire foot goes inside the socks and the socks, a sock inflates like this. But if you take a single strand out of that sock, then that single strand, if you stretch like this, the sock does, this single strand does not stretch. And when the single strand does not stretch, how can the sock be so stretchable? The logic is, the property is not that of a single strand of a sock. It is the meshwork of the, so the, even if it is a cotton sock, nylon sock, a single nylon string, and as for that matter single cotton string, they are not elastic in nature. They would not stretch like this, like a rubber band. So but when this are interwoven like this, they are interwoven like this and make a sock, then when that sock is stretchable, and the entire foot can go inside that sock. Same logic holds with your lungs. This support, in the lungs, the alveoli are there, the bigger alveoli would be there, the smaller alveoli would be there, all would be connected with, they would be connected with the tubes and all those things. But in between this alveoli, there would be collagen structure, there would be elastin and collagen fibers, a meshwork of elastin and collagen fibers. In the interstitial spaces, there would be meshwork of elastin and collagen fibers. Elastin and collagen fibers. Now these elastin and collagen fibers, the meshwork, it is the meshwork, mind it, the meshwork of fiber that provides the elastic property, and that elastic property prevents the alveoli, acts like a supporting prop, a skeletal framework. It forms a framework over there. It helps in providing a support structure around there, and with that support structure, the bronchioles, bronchi, and the alveolar structure, they are able to prop up, they are unko pakad ke rakhta hai, and then when they are collapsing, they act like a spring and prevent them from collapsing over there. So the logic is, because of the elastin, collagen, not of individual fiber, they do not carry the elastic property, but the meshwork of that, this meshwork of elastin, collagen, fiber, that is imparting the unique elastic property to the lungs. So, and then because of that unique elastic property of the lungs, the compliance, we are able to see compliance. So lungs shows that variability of volume change with the change in the pressure, and this variability of volume change, which is the change in volume per unit change in pressure in the transpulmonary space, per unit change in pressure, that is providing the compliance. And two features of the compliance, not two features, but two characteristics, two properties of lungs which are imparting in creating compliance. एक question होता है कि compliance क्यों होता है, why compliance happens, what are the property or characteristic which are creating compliance. So one is the elastin collagen meshwork, which is giving the elastic property around the structure alveolus and bronchus, and the दूसरा होता है the surfactant, which are surfactant are inside the, ये बाहर है और ये अंदर है. So surfactant are inside this, so they are preventing the alveoli from collapsing. The collapsing pressure would try the alveoli to collapse, and they would prevent that from collapsing, and this collagen meshwork would also prevent it from collapsing. So these are the thing, and because they are helpful in preventing it from collapsing, so next time जो प्रेशर हमारा जीरो तक जाने की जरूरत नहीं होती है, there is always some residual air inside the lungs. So that completes your chapter of collagen for all majority of purpose. Compliance remains a important short note. ये एक important short note है, वाइवा का क्वेश्चन है. Generally you will find that I generally skip out फालतू फंड वाले sections. So whatever part I would be taking वो आर जनरली मान के चलना कि जितना मैं पढ़ाऊंगा उतना इम्पोर्टेंट ही पढ़ाऊंगा. मैं खुद फालतू पढ़ाना पसंद नहीं करता. सो जो बहुत थोड़ा थोड़ा पढ़ाएंगे, लेकिन जितना पढ़ाएंगे वो इम्पोर्टेंट वाला पार्ट ही पढ़ाएंगे. ये जो है, दिस कंप्लायंस फॉर्म्स योर इम्पोर्टेंट शॉर्ट नोट. दिस फॉर्म्स एन इम्पोर्टेंट शॉर्ट नोट. सो ये वाइवा का भी अच्छा क्वेश्चन होता है. So just ensure that this is a good viva question, this is a good short note, this is a good viva question. So ye, and then hysteresis loop does not come into viva, but in short note वगैरह. Surfactant by itself is a very important. Surfactant is a very important. तो ये आगे भी काम है, MBBS वालों के लिए तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा important होता है. Important short note. Now अब practical implication of this surfactant. A practical implication of the surfactant. The applied part. There is a condition where one thing more. Surfactant is synthesized in the lungs during the last 1-2 weeks of before birth. एकदम, क्योंकि why reason being that कि in the lungs in a baby who is inside the womb, he is not going to breathe. He is taking oxygen directly from placenta, so the lung does not have to take in air, so there is no need to expand the lung. But before the birth, the lung prepares itself for expansion. So just before birth, 1-2 हफ्ते पहले, the surfactants are synthesized 1 to 2 weeks before birth. What happens is that sometimes premature delivery हो जाती है. There is a premature delivery and the baby is born before completing his entire tenure inside the womb. So he misses the last 2 weeks of the delivery, and then ऐसे बच्चे do not produce surfactant. So in that such a situation, what happens? The baby is born and there is no surfactant inside. Now imagine a baby is born with no surfactant inside. Now normally the pressure was 0 inside the lungs. Okay, the transpulmonary pressure was 0. Now the baby has to exert so much amount of pressure. Already every baby has to exert so much amount of pressure, but that when there is a surfactant, now तो there is no surfactant, so baby has to exert so much amount of pressure. ये graph तो एकदम ही flat हो जाएगा. So this will hardly open up, because and then you come to this point, there is no surfactant over here, so that surface tension is not reducing and there is a heavy collapsing pressure. Even though the baby opens the lungs with his effort, there is a heavy collapsing pressure on this, because there is no surfactant to reduce the pressure. So the pressure is very high, the collapsing pressure becomes very high, and therefore ले दे के घूम फिर के सारी बात का समरी क्या है? The alveoli do not open up, and when the alveoli remain collapsed, the baby is not able to breathe, and if we do not support such a baby, the baby will die. And such a condition is known as respiratory distress syndrome. Respiratory distress syndrome, in short also known as RDS. It happens in newborn babies. It happens in newborn. Generally, these are premature babies. Usually these are premature babies, and why this is happening? Because these babies are not secreting this substance known as surfactant. And because why they are not secreting this substance which is surfactant? Because they are premature. तो सर्फेक्टेंट आखिरी के महीने में, आखिरी के 2-15 दिनों में बनता है बेबी में, और ये बच्चे पहले ही पैदा हो गए, तो ये नहीं. तो इलाज क्या है? व्हाट इज द ट्रीटमेंट? द ट्रीटमेंट इज टू गिव सर्फेक्टेंट, सिंथेटिक सर्फेक्टेंट, जो मॉलिक्यूल फार्मास्यूटिकल सर्फेक्टेंट जो बनाते हैं उनको, वो सर्फेक्टेंट्स मार्केट में अवेलेबल है, और सिंथेटिक सर्फेक्टेंट को हम we give by the process of ventilator. So these babies generally go into ventilator support because their lungs are not opening, and surfactant are given as inhalation. So surfactant are given as aerosol into the lungs, and these surfactant go with the air and line up the alveoli. The surfactant was missing over there, and we give surfactant from outside the body, and these line up over there and thus produce the surfactant. And by the time the baby matures, he is able to produce surfactant, his natural surfactant. और अगर हम इतनी दिन we are able to sustain the baby for that much of time, we get enough time to keep the lungs open with ventilator and synthetic surfactant, and then the baby survives. And this is the practical application of the surfactant, the clinical application, respiratory distress syndrome. This constitutes again a good short note and a viva question, as well as a theory short note question.